But today is a very big day. This live might be a little shorter because of that. As you may or may not know, as you may or may not know, if you've been watching my lives, I have been covering several events for the Democratic Party. Arizona's a battleground state. There's a lot going on here. Like, just for the Kamala Harris Trump debate, I had us at a watch party where Tim Walz showed up and spoke in person, which was super cool. Well, tonight is a big event that I've been invited to. I don't know how it's going to go down. I just figured out last night, but America Ferrera from the Barbie movie, Ugly Betty, she is hosting a fireside chat. It's like a small group chat on reproductive rights. It will be filmed. I plan on live streaming the whole thing and taking you guys along with me like I always do. But yeah, so that's what's happening later tonight. That is my goal is to be streaming by 4 p.m. Pacific time. I like to get the before and the after if at all possible. Turns out, because if you guys remember, I didn't know where the event was going to be because they don't, for security reasons, they don't tell you until like within 24 hours before. It's at a house. So they rented like a private residence in a super nice area far away from where I live in Central Phoenix. So yeah, it's at a very nice house. So this is going to be a super intimate situation. Like that's the good news here, We're going to be all up close and personal in a house. Spamming the same thing, he got a minute type, so we got a minute time out. It's okay. Yeah, I don't mind as long as it's not horrific. It's okay. But yeah, don't be annoying and spam. Don't say the same thing over and over again. But as long as it's not completely inappropriate, it's fine. But anyways, what happens to all the insurance companies when we moved to healthcare for all? Nothing. I mean, it's an infrastructure, right? If you're asking about the people that work at insurance companies, like that's an infrastructure that the insurance companies are just ran by the government. That's what Medicare for all is. It has nothing to do with the doctors, the hospitals. All of that is still the same. Like doctors, and again, this is talking about Bernie Sanders Medicare for all. There's many types of universal health care. Like in the UK, universal health care, doctors work for the government. But in Portugal, no, they do not. But Bernie Sanders Medicare for all, everything stays the same, like doctors, hospitals. It's just the apparatus that was insurance companies, you bill the government. So all those people that work within those companies can then become government employees in theory because they already have the expertise. Sorry, but I digress. Anywho, back to what I was saying. So 4 p.m. is when I hope to be live streaming by at this fireside chat with America Ferrera. I will keep you guys, as always, updated in the Discord. If I'm not mirroring my screen right now, so my hat could be forward. So if I look like I'm a little turned around, that's why. If you need a link to the Discord, this is a TikTok account. Don't message the words at Felice Navidad Live to me. This is a TikTok account at Felice Navidad Live. It's a business account. Message that account and just say, I would like a link to the Discord, and we will get you one. Okay? I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. A little more business. Merch is live. Link in my bio. Also, link in the Discord. It's hard. Let me see if I can figure out quickly how to just take the background down for a second. Yeah. Merch is live. Link in my bio. I love crew neck sweatshirts, but there's different types of merch. You don't necessarily have to have a sweatshirt all different colors. Let me show you. I'm obsessed with black crew neck sweatshirts lately. These are large. But again, link in my bio, also link in the Discord. I know, I like them. They're awesome. And again, there's different types of things. There's t-shirts, there's phone cases. We'll add more as we go. We just are figuring things out in real time. So I just want to let everyone know, if you are interested in some merch, the link's in my bio, or if you're in the Discord, there is a section in the Discord for that. Okay, what else do we need to talk about today? Oh yeah, another thing I said in the Discord, but if you're not in the Discord, you may or may not know. So the same house the fireside chat is at tonight with America Ferrera is the same house we're gonna be at for the Hotties for Harris merch unboxing event on Sunday. So that will be cool too. It's some sort of like paint and sip party, should be pretty cool. So where we'll be at tonight will also be where we're at on Sunday. So I will keep you posted on that. I have many things to do, so this live might be a little shorter. Like I said, the location of this event tonight is far away from me. So I have to make sure I'm organized and get out there on time and get through security and things like that. But man, there's just some things I need to talk about. Raise your hand if you have looked at the Eric Adams indictment. Like, has anyone looked into it? I cannot believe everything I've seen in the media tells me that everything the Republicans are saying about the Eric Adams indictment, it's giving, I have not read it. It's very much giving, I have not read it, or it does not matter what it says to me because Donald Trump did a press conference yesterday. Oh, I need to put my background up. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. And again, all the stuff we're going to go over right now in the outline, the clips, the articles, the PDFs of the indictment, everything is gathered by me. I'm a former teacher. I'm here to provide you with outlines every day in the Discord, arm you guys with the truth so you can go out, have conversations, debates, make content that is based in, reality and not in the alternate reality half of our country seems to be living in. So if you would like to donate to contribute to my efforts and my research, this is what I do for a living. I rely on your tips and donations to keep it going. A Girl Has No Name, that is Cash App and Venmo, and it is much appreciated, as well as getting to these events and everything I do. So anything you can donate is much appreciated. Sorry, that was my nail polish. Back to Eric Adams. My mind is blown by this indictment, but I just want to get something straight because I don't know if anyone's been seeing MAGA and what they're saying about this indictment. There are a lot, yeehaw, thank you. Thank you for the hat. There are a lot of people on the right. And if you saw, oh, good Lord, we had a Trump presser yesterday. The most unhinged ones are after he has a court date in New York. Yesterday was his appeal for the Engoron case, the $400+ million that he defrauded. That is, let me set up a new goal really quick. Let me set a new gift goal. So he had his lawyers presenting their appeal for the Engoron case and got it. Or no, I didn't. No. I thought I did it, but I don't think I did. Give me 1 second, guys. Sometimes I have a lot going on in my brain today. Set. Why do you have to push confirm so many times on this? It seems very unnecessary. It's just a lot of confirms. Okay, it's set. I set a gift goal, winning. Anyways, so yesterday Trump had his lawyers presented his appeal to the appellate court in New York about the Engoron civil or fraud trial, where he, the $400+ million. And when he gets done, thank you for subscribing, Jenko. Appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to, guys. So for the appeal in the Engoron case, and what happens after these is Trump sits in court or hears about what's happened in court and becomes so enraged, right, that then he goes back to Trump Tower and in the lobby of Trump Tower, screams at reporters says he's going to have a press conference, screams for an hour and 15 minutes. And then as he's walking out, says like one or two things. Like that's basically what happens at these press conferences. And I thought it was wild. Actually, not wild, very expected. Thank you for subscribing, Sai. I couldn't see your whole name. I appreciate it. What I thought was very interesting, which this is not the first time I've heard him do it. I don't know how much you guys know about Eric Adams, but Eric Adams is a lot like Donald Trump. I've said this for a long time. His behavior, the stuff he says and does. I heard him refer to himself as Jesus one time in a press conference. Like Eric Adams has very much has the profile of a narcissist, right? And Trump basically has Eric Adams is saying that he's been framed. Anyone who thinks Eric Adams or is completely innocent and has been railroaded by the Justice Department, does that sound like a familiar line to anyone? His lines are pretty much exactly like Trump's lines. And at Trump's presser yesterday, which I need to show you some clips of, and I promise we will get there because we cannot get through today. We cannot let Trump get away with people not seeing his disgusting behavior yesterday at that press conference. But one of the things he says is he's asked about the Eric Adams indictment and completely defends him and says he's been railroaded, been completely railroaded. And he's like, it was just like me, just like I've been railroaded and I've never done anything wrong. This is so crazy. And if you were a thinking person, though, you might logically think something else like, oh, this is the fourth Democratic politician or Democrat in office or linked to someone in office that the alleged weaponized DOJ has now indicted, right? We have Hunter Biden. We have Gold Bar Bob Menendez found guilty. We have Henry Cuellar, another friend of Trump that Trump defends. And now Eric Adams. It's very weird to say the Justice Department is weaponized against Republicans and only goes after Republicans when they seem to be consistently going after Democrats, including and up to the president's own son. I mean, that's how I would see it if I was a thinking person. But we know that Trump is not. So the other thing it says is you have not read the indictment. I think we've talked about it before when we've been going through Trump's indictments for the last couple of years. But this is the Southern District of New York, the hallowed halls of Thurgood Marshall himself, the most respected federal court in the United States of America with like a 98% conviction rate. These people, by the time the indictment comes, you are guilty, right? Because what is this federal court usually going after? Things that involve, crimes over the wires, wire fraud, paper trails. It's not like, hey, Billy said he saw Eric Adams do something. That's not what these types of indictments are, right? And this one, I think it's like 57 pages. Oh, I just cannot say enough. This reads like a crime novel, okay? If it's not like, oh God, I have to read 57 pages of something. It's like a page turner, cannot put it down. If I suggest everyone read the Eric Adams indictment and you will see how ludicrous it is. Oh, there's Dale. Dale, do you want to talk? We can talk about it. I would like your opinion. Request and come up for sure, Dale. We can talk about it. You think the crimes are pretty weak? I guarantee you then don't know what they are. Do you want me to tell you the story, Dale? I do educate you for free. It's one of my favorite activities. Oh, let me just say from yesterday, I did not do a live because I had so much to do before today. But on Wednesday, Donald, thank you for your donation. I really appreciate it. And you said, hey, I typed in the money sign before being able to find you. You may want to take it off so it doesn't confuse others. Oh, the money sign is just the Cash App symbol. It's just there. That's what it is. You don't have to be, yeah. So I don't think I can take it off. I think Cash App just puts it there. That's the symbol of Cash App versus, like, you can see, sorry, my screen's not mirrored so you can read my hat. So that's why I look like I'm, having trouble seeing and like, it's so confusing. That's the Cash App symbol. They put the dollar sign before names. But I know, it's right here. A girl has no name. I can't do this. I need to stop looking at the screen while I try. And Jana, also, thank you for your donation and video of Kamala Trump played at rally. Oh yeah. Thank you so much for that link as well. And Jennifer says, from your Jen on TikTok, you love you and your content. Thank you so much. You're the absolute best. So I just want to make sure I read these. Let me just check one more. Let me check Cash App to make sure. Katrina, don't make me cry for being so amazing, Felice. We love you. I love you, girl. You just have no idea. And for all the encouraging messages people gave me this morning, I just, when I have a big event that I'm going to cover for you guys, like tonight, this in-person fireside chat with America Forever, I think this is probably the biggest event we've been invited to. And I just don't want to let you guys down. I want to make sure it's perfect. So I get anxious. Kyle says, for not much, but a little for your trip tomorrow. Kyle, you're the best. Thank you also with your help. I finally, we are, that's the announcement I missed. We are streaming on YouTube now. I would love if you guys, my YouTube is almost monetized. I need watch hours. So if you would go also, it's also at a girl has no name, same thing as Cash App, same thing as Venmo. If you will go to my YouTube, follow, interact with my videos, watch the shorts, watch the episodes that we post, the live streams going on now, that will be great because we're close to having it monetized and getting things figured out. I finally out how to get Betty logged in and get Chrissy, Christina, and Dustin. So things are happening. I know it seems like I should just be able to figure this stuff all out, but it's a lot of moving parts. Let's see. Natalie, I just want to say, Natalie said on Wednesday, for I so appreciate your voice on all the issues. I think I read that, but I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone because sometimes I think. And one more. Ashley says, from Smashly, get some good DoorDash after your long day today. I will do that. That's usually what I do. I just order a DoorDash and think, I know it's going to turn out great. It usually does, right? I'm a perfectionist. In order to make sure I produce good content for you guys, I have to consider all the things that could go wrong first. Okay, so back, I'm glad, Dale, you're not requesting. I'm very confused, Dale. I thought you were going to come up here and you were going to tell me why these crimes that Eric Adams committed. Hey, here's my perspective on this. You are more than welcome. Again, I read through this entire indictment, so I'm not speaking from a place of. I saw on X some people in MAGA say that it's no big deal and that he was railroaded. I actually read the charges because, to be honest, think about it. I obviously am a leftist. I am voting. I'm going to be voting for the Democratic Party, especially in my battleground state, like down the ballot. So why would I want the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, to be guilty of some hideous stuff? I mean, other than the fact, like I said, he gives very much the profile of narcissist, has always been disturbingly close to Donald Trump. Like, I have always thought that that was very weird. I have always, oh my God, you guys are gonna die. I know, I can tell by MAGA's comments, they have no idea what Eric Adams has done. But in my opinion, and I'm just gonna say some things off the top and then I'm gonna get into more of what this guy has done. But he's done a lot of horrible things. Like this, I mean, we could make the argument he's a Turkish spy. I don't know at this point if he works for the government of Turkey or if he is serving the American people. The people of New York should be very, very concerned about that. It is very concerning. Has he been acting as an unregistered foreign agent on U.S. soil? It seems so. It definitely, and that is disturbing, right? But sounds a little bit like treason. But for me, what is so disturbing about what Eric Adams has done is he took a really cool program that was meant for honest politicians, people. I'm sure AOC probably uses it, or things of that nature, and that's meant to make it so corporate, billions of corporate dollars, super PAC money, billionaire money. Even if you don't want to accept that and you want to run for office in New York City, that there is a way in order to get enough money to be able to do that. It's a program to match donations. And Eric Adams is not just a Turkish spy who's accepting a bunch of gifts and not reporting them and giving them favors and basically favoring if you helped him fraudulently gather election funds from foreign nationals. Can you donate to U.S. campaigns if you are not a U.S. citizen? Can you? Why is most of Eric Adams' money coming from the country of Turkey? I don't know. And that's not the only country, but I'm just saying. And then, that's what we're dealing with here. And he took a program that basically, so think of AOC. She accepts no super PAC money, no outside, no corporate money, no lobbyist money. She does it all on her own. And New York City has a program where if you want to run and don't want to accept money from billionaires, from corporations, you basically can do an 8 times match type thing. The donors have to be citizens of New York City, right? Registered taxpayers of New York City. They can donate you money, I think up to $2,000 each. And then there is a match program where they match up to 8 times. So this is how Eric Adams is defrauding taxpayers. He's getting money mostly from Turkish nationals, businessmen. The actual Turkish government is orchestrating this. Then, so they're okay, we got so many thousands of dollars. Eric Adams won't show up at a fundraiser unless there's a 25K minimum. That's his, hey, you want to see me? You want my ear? Because imagine the power of the New York City mayor. There are so many immigrant communities, right? There's a huge Turkish community in New York City that's big in construction and transportation and other things. And what they try to do, New York City politics has long been corrupt, but they tried to lobby the mayor for contracts to get perks, to get inspections, brushed under the carpet, all sorts of things. So Eric Adams, and not just while he's been mayor, okay, since I believe the beginning of 2022, starting in 2018, right, when he started his exploratory committee to run and started fundraising, has set up a system where he gets money from Turkish, let's just, for the all intents and purposes right now, not just Turkey, but Turkish nationals, orchestrated by the Turkish government. They donate the money and they get straw men, right? Actual U.S. citizens to donate that money in their names. And then he submits that money to the match program, the New York City match program. And they gave him 8 times those donations. Now, just in the leading up to the 2021 election, when he got elected, he did this he defrauded New York City taxpayers to the tune of $10 million plus. You cannot accept campaign donations from people that live outside the country. Imagine, right? He's accepting money from people outside the country. Then let's say, and this is literally how it's listed in the indictment. It's businessman 1, businessman 2, businessman 3, Turkish official, Turkish Airlines manager. We'll get to that. And then it's businessman 1 will come and be well, I'm not a U.S. citizen, but I have businesses in the United States and I have people working for me that are U.S. citizens and or have green cards. So I have so many thousands of dollars. Eric Adams would go to Turkey, meet with business people there, drum up support. They would say hey, I want to donate to your campaign, but there's rules. How could I do that? And this is what he set up, these straw man things where then they take employees of these companies who technically are US citizens, right? They write them checks for like $2,000 and say, hey, at this fundraiser, you donate, I've given you $2,000. Now you donate $2,000 in your name. And then the New York City and the taxpayers of New York City in good faith thinking, oh, this guy's raising grassroots donations and doesn't want to take money from lobbyists or super PACs or from billionaires, and he's doing a good thing, so let's match that times 8, and steals from the New York taxpayers. I don't know. There's many more disturbing things about this indictment that you could say, no, this is worse. Like, he's working, and we're literally watching in real time as the Turkish government gains more and more influence over him. It's very disturbing. But I find it, like, when you're talking about taking a program that was meant to be a good thing, to help people avoid being controlled by rich people, by foreign countries, by super PACs, by corporations, and you defraud the program. I find it truly, truly disturbing. I just want to read a couple of things. I cannot say enough. Read it for yourself. This reads like a crime novel. You will not want to put it down. I was like carrying it around. Like my iPad, I literally took like a shower with my iPad. I was like leaning out, still reading. In 2014, Eric Adams, the defendant, became Brooklyn Borough president. That's what he was prior to becoming mayor, right? And please know that before that, he was like this is a cop, okay? Trump's attitude on immigration, on indemnifying the police, these are things that Eric Adams believes in also. Okay, that's why I'm trying to get the point of don't think of Eric Adams as some great guy. The longer he was in the mayor's office, the longer it became very clear what the F is wrong with this guy. To me, I'm saying personally to me, in my opinion, this is a man who became more and more anti-immigrant, who started taking money and cutting benefits from the people of New York City whilst he was defrauding them for $10 million, saying we don't have enough money in New York City in the budget to house immigrants, to pay out other types of benefits to citizens. Oh, but by the way, I'm defrauding you all for $10 million that could be used for something else. Oh, sorry, I had to turn on my do not disturb before someone called me. I think I forgot. Let me turn my volume off as well. Okay. By 2018, Adams, who had been known or who had made known his plans to run for mayor of New York City, not only accepted but sought illegal campaign contributions to his 2021 mayoral campaign, as well as other things of value from foreign nationals. As Adams' prominence and power grew, his foreign national benefactors sought to cash in on their corrupt relationships with him, particularly when, in 2021, it became clear that Adams would become New York City's mayor. Adams agreed, providing favorable treatment in exchange for illicit benefits he received. After his inauguration as mayor of New York City, Adams soon began preparing for his next election, including by planning to solicit more illegal contributions and granting requests from those who supported his 2021 mayoral campaign. This is the thing. There's a guy in this indictment called the airlines manager. Turkish Airlines, right? That's not a private corporation in Turkey. The Turkish government owns, I don't think all of it, but a huge stake in it, right? So just understand that when we're talking about Turkish Airlines, that is the Turkish government. It's the state. And Eric Adams, who has, in my opinion, has the profile of a narcissist, is receiving free luxury travel, right? All over. Thousands upon thousands of dollars. If you know what it takes, and their highest, they don't have a first class designation on a lot of foreign airlines. The highest is business class. He's flying business class to places like China. These are thousands and thousands of dollars with his partner. I don't think he's technically married, with his partner. and other people, and creating a paper trail to cover it up. Like that, you are required to avoid corruption, to avoid undue influence by other countries being exerted on you. This is why you have to report these types of things. This is exactly why what Eric Adams is doing. And he was knowingly covering it up. I'm just saying that. And so anyone saying, hey, what Eric Adams is doing doesn't seem to be a big deal. Again, you need to read the indictment and see what the actual evidence is against him. This is a paper trail, just like Donald Trump, how we had to hear for months and months and months, oh, Trump's innocent. He knows nothing about this. Well, unfortunately, paper trails do not lie. Text messages do not lie. Like, this is a paper trail of wire fraud and other types of things. Eric Adams, the defendant, sought and accepted illegal campaign contributions in the form of nominee or straw contributions, meaning that the contributors conveyed their money through nominal donors who falsely certified they were contributing their own money. But by smuggling their contributions to Adams through US based straw donors, Adams' overseas contributors defeated federal laws that serve to prevent foreign influence on US elections. And can I just mention, Turkey is it's like, if we had anyone we need to throw out of NATO, it's Turkey and Hungary. You know what I mean? This is Erdogan, the president. I mean, this is like human rights violations central. Okay? Like, of all the countries, why am I not surprised it's Turkey? Trump loves Viktor Orban, loves Erdogan, like, and so does Eric Adams. I'm just drawing parallels. When I was reading this, I was literally like, well, Trump is probably a little too rich to want like thousands of dollars of public airline travel. I think he's probably like past that point. But yeah, like if Trump wasn't a nepo baby who had inherited so much, this is what he would be up to. Wealthy individuals evaded laws designed to limit their power over elected officials by restricting the amount that any one person can donate to a candidate. And businesses circumvented New York City's ban on corporate contributions by funneling their donations through multiple employees, frustrating a law that seeks to reduce corporate power in politics. Like, all of the laws in New York City that seeks to give the power back to the people in local elections, he defrauded, disregarded, and then is sitting there in our faces saying, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's the grossest thing. And then, again, he compounded his gains from the straw contributions by using them to defraud New York City and steal New York City public funds. New York City has a matching funds program that matches small dollar contributions from individual city residents with up to 8 times their amount in public funds, to give New Yorkers a greater voice in elections, to try to preserve democracy. Like, of all the things, that's why I think this is so despicable. Adams' campaigns applied for matching funds based on known straw donations, fraudulently obtaining as much as $2,000 in public funds for each illegal contribution. Adams and those working at his direction falsely certified compliance with applicable campaign finance regulations. Despite Adams' repeated acceptance of straw donations, relying on the concealed nature of these illegal contributions to falsely portray they were law-abiding. As a result of those false certifications, Adams 2021, he started doing this again. Immediately after he was elected, he started planning and doing it again. Adams' 2021 mayoral campaign received more than $10 million in public funds. That's the taxpayers' money. It's gross. There's a list here. Let me get to the end of this because it's very long. Oh, and he's getting free hotel suites at the St. Regis in Turkey. Like, I mean, this guy it's unbelievable how many thousand, and there's pictures of the hotel suites. It's quite disturbing. And there's text messages between him and his staffers where they're like, delete the text messages. He's like, I always do. Like, this is not just like, oh, this was happening. And then he can claim, oh, I didn't know about it. I was not aware that this is going on. He was actively text messaging about the cover ups. He was lying and texting things about covering up that he wasn't paying for the flights. He would start paying, he would pay like a couple times, not every time. Sometimes he just received thousands and thousands of dollars of business class flights for free. But then when the heat started getting on him, then he would pay, like he would have his partner buy like economy price tickets. Then they would call this Turkish Airlines manager who would upgrade them to the tune of thousands upon thousands of dollars. They would have layovers in Turkey where they would meet with Turkish officials and be taken on yachts, staying at the St. Regis, be taken to extravagant dinners, be taken to spas, and then go off on another trip somewhere else. Here we go. Let me just, here's because they actually itemize out at one part. From 2016 through 2021, Adams received the following benefits from the Turkish official, the airlines manager, the promoter, and others, none of which he disclosed on annual disclosure forms. Well, that right there is a crime. You have to disclose this stuff. Never reported any of it. 2016, he went to India, from New York to India, always a layover, stopping in Turkey. Free upgrade to business class for 2 on round trip from New York to India. Value $12,000 plus. Disclosed? No. What do you know? Sorry, I'm just going to hold up my red flag that someone reminded me in the comments. Because this is ridiculous. Keep tapping the screen, guys. Dale, if you're in here, I thought you wanted to talk about this. Do you want to tell me why it's not a big deal to steal millions of dollars from taxpayers? I know you don't care when Trump does it, so if you want to come up and let me know why it's not a big deal to steal money from hardworking taxpayers, I'm here to listen. And then narcissistically lie in their faces and say that he did nothing wrong. 2017, France, Turkey. Okay, so he went from New York City to Turkey, then to France, then to China. Free business class tickets for 3 on round trip from New York to France, Turkey, and China. Heavily discounted stay in the Bentley suite of the St. Regis at Istanbul. $41,000 value. Disclosed? No. 2017. China via Turkey again. But he's a self-professed like avid traveler. This is like his kink. Like just whenever he has time to go jet off somewhere and explore the world. Free business class tickets. Free. For 2 on round trip from New York to China. $16,000. 2018, China via, oh, sorry, I already read that one. Hungary via Turkey, visiting Viktor Orban. What do you know? He didn't visit him, but I'm just saying, his country. Free upgrade to business class for 2 on round trip from New York to Hungary, $12,000 plus dollars. Disclosed? No. 2019 to Turkey. Free upgrade to business class for 1 on flight from New York to Turkey. Free stay. Now we're getting free stays at Cosmopolitan Suite of St. Regis, Istanbul. Free meals, transportation, and entertainment in Istanbul. $9,000 plus dollars. 2021. And then this is when the heat was coming on, you know, and he solicited and then accepted, but then canceled to Turkey. He had scheduled free upgrade to business class for 2 on round trip from New York to Turkey, free or steeply discounted luxury hotel and resort stays, transportation, entertainment, and meals. 21,000. This is one of the shadier ones in 2021. And I remember this because the press was covering it so heavily. He ended up in Ghana, but like what happened was he got a free upgrade to business class for 2 on round trip from New York to Ghana. But now I need to remember. So what this story is, and I could go find it in the indictment, but he originally booked to somewhere else. Thank you so much. I love the baby dragon. So cute. He originally booked to stay in another country. Oh, Pakistan, I believe. I believe he was going to Pakistan. I'm pretty sure. But he was going from New York to Pakistan, pays for economy class tickets for him and his partner. Then like just a couple days. Think about flight changes. And when you're going internationally, like a few days before he's supposed to leave, calls up the Turkish Airlines manager and says, I've decided I want to go to Ghana instead. And that's because he decided to do a public PR tour. I remember when he was posting this all over social media, right? So, and here's the interesting part. So, what they have it listed at is in this document is free upgrade to business class for two on round trip from New York to Ghana, free meal and transportation during Istanbul layover. But what happened was, like I said, he had another trip scheduled to another country. Couple days before, changes it to Ghana. He stops in Turkey and has extravagant, is picked up. He has a driver, a car, fancy meals. He's staying, if you guys know anything about business lounges, he's staying in like the overnight personal suites in business lounges. All of this is comped for free. Specifically says there are text messages in the indictment and says, to the airlines manager, to his staffer who's coordinating with the airlines manager, no one can know. I want no press. The Turkish government's agreeing, like, when you come here, no one's gonna know. And then when he gets to Ghana, starts a literal like, yay, look at me press tour, where it's all over his social media. Like, this guy purposely covered all of this stuff up. Sorry, it's just, I was reading this and it just gets very disturbing. Like, then he starts doing at a point, right? Nothing is for free, correct? You're not getting thousands upon thousands of dollars of free travel and upgrades and stays places for nothing. Eventually, you've got to pay the piper and they need something from you. And that's like one of the more disturbing parts of this is listening or is reading about what the pressure campaigns he put on people. Like, there's this really disturbing incident. It's called like the Turkish House, which is this like, I don't quote me, but definitely more than 20. I think it's 30 something stories, right? Or something. It's a huge building where the Turkish consulate is in New York. And Erdogan, the president of Turkey, was coming. And they wanted it open because it was like the start of the United Nations Assembly. I think in 2021. Yeah. Oh, I think I just happened upon it. Yep. Here it is. Here's the section because you need to hear this. This is quite disturbing. Okay. Yeah, okay. So in 2017, so this is 2017, construction began on a 36-story building located at 821 United Nations Plaza, New York, New York, and referred to as the Turkish House or Turkevi Center. The Turkish House was designed to serve as, and now serves as, the headquarters of multiple Turkish diplomatic missions, including the Turkish consulate. This is Erdogan, the Turkish government's home in New York City, when he comes for the United Nations. The cost of the Turkish House was significant and was a topic of political debate in Turkey. The Turkish consulate planned to open the Turkish House on September 20, 2021, so that Turkey's president could formally open the building during his visit for that year's opening of the United Nations General Assembly. Ensuring the Turkish House opened on schedule was a priority for the Turkish official, right? This is a Turkish official who works at the consulate, who's helping doing all this, setting him up with businessmen who are giving him planning these fundraisers and getting him straw man donations. He's organizing with the airlines manager when he's in Turkey. He's got his hands in everything. Yeah, it says, who was at the time Turkey's consul general in New York. So this guy is the man as far as like diplomats from Turkey in New York. As of August 31st, 2021, construction on the Turkish House was complete. But the Department of Buildings, sorry, there's so many acronyms and I'm just trying to remember what they are, had not yet issued a TCO for the building. Without a TCO, the Turkish could not open during the Turkish house could not open during the Turkish president's impending visit. It's basically like a letter of defect. It basically says, hey, here, the fire inspectors, it has to do with the FDNY coming and saying, hey, this building's not going to burn down or fall down, like it meets code, right? And it can legally be opened. Without a TCO, the Turkish house could not open. Oh, I said that. The Department of Buildings had not issued a TCO because the FDNY had not yet conducted an inspection and issued what the FDNY refers to as a letter of defect, which was a prerequisite to the issuance of a TCO for the Turkish house. Issuing a letter of defect is a regular FDNY procedure. In substance, it identifies remaining defects in the building's fire safety system, but also serves to signal that the defects are sufficiently limited that the building can safely be occupied. So on or about August 31, 2021 through September 9th, 2021, various New York City officials and employees sought to help the Turkish officials. So at first, Eric Adams is not directly involved in the corruption, right? He's like, I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to wait, and like is instructing other people to try to help push and get these permits so the building can open for when Erdogan arrives in September. Okay. Among others, they sought to help the Turkish official, but it's not work. They're trying to lobby specifically the FDNY's Bureau of Fire Prevention, the fire prevention chief, to write the letter. The fire prevention chief is refusing. He's citing numerous reported fire safety defects. Like, by all accounts, this building was not effing safe for anyone to be inside of, some of which were serious, right, at the Turkish house, and the likelihood that the building would fail any FDNY inspection. Like, he's saying, I'm not even going to send an inspector because this building is so messed up. Like, they'll never pass the inspection. They're not fixing anything, right? So then the Turkish official on September 5th begins directly asking Adams, both directly and through the Adams staffer, that's what she's called in the indictment, to intervene. Her name's Suggs. Her name's Brianna Suggs, I think. To intervene with the commissioner of the FDNY, and so like the head, in order to secure a TCO for the Turkish house. Adams, the Turkish official, and Adams staffer discussed these requests through phone calls and texts. In a phone call to the Adams staffer, the Turkish official says, sorry, I gotta keep switching pages. The Turkish official says Turkey had supported Adams. It was now his turn to support Turkey. The Adams staffer relayed this message to Adams, and Adams responded, I know. This is why I'm saying he's now a foreign agent on U.S. soil. You've accepted so many illegal contributions and gifts. They have so much on you now. You're putting the people of New York City in danger, and have to, because you're being blackmailed at this point. On September 6, 2021, Adams messaged the Adams staffer that he would contact the FDNY commissioner. September 7th, Adams messaged the Adams staffer that he had not scheduled a call with, or that he had scheduled a call with the commissioner later that day. On September 8th, Adams messaged the commissioner asking him to call Adams. Until that point, right, the messages between the FDNY commissioner and Adams had consisted of one on August 3rd, right? Because so this is the leverage Adams has on this guy. On August 3rd, there was a message from the commissioner to Adams requesting to continue to serve as FDNY commissioner after Adams became mayor, right? So it's becoming clear that Eric Adams is probably going to win the election. And so now he holds the power over the FDNY commissioner's job. So on August 3rd, like over a month before, the FDNY commissioner tries to reach out and say like, hey, it says he's stressing that he was, quote, loyal and trustworthy, to which Adams sent a non-committal response. On September 5th, right, then the commissioner reaches out again with an invitation to a September 11th memorial service from the commissioner to Adams, to which Adams responded that he would try to attend and wished to speak with the commissioner for half an hour about the FDNY. So also on September 8th, Adams he messages the commissioner again saying, they said they needed a letter of defect from the FDNY to Department of Buildings. They said they needed a letter to them with the letter the Department of Buildings will give the TCO. So Adams is saying, I don't care that this building isn't safe. If you send the letter to I don't care that this building, then everything will be good. And then the commissioner responds, we'll get on it tomorrow, right? And then they communicate and tell the Turkish official that they're on top of it. On September 9, after a contractor working for the Turkish consulate sent the FDNY a letter describing the status of the fire alarm system, employee with responsibility for and prevention chief the following email. So this is the actual person in charge of the inspection. And this is what the reality is of what is going on in this building. This is what it says. Chief, after reviewing the letter, I do not see any way we would be willing to accept it. They have some major issues, like central station and fan shutdowns, which would be an automatic violation order. Aside from that, he gave us a list with over 60 defects, and some of the list 5 to 10 problems in each defect. FAIU would not go beyond 20 defects. So they send a list with over 50 defects, and there's 5 to 10 problems in each one. Like, so 500, like between 250 and 500 problems. And they're saying 20 defects, like you can't go beyond 20 total without issuing a violation order. In my opinion, this document does not take any liability that we would be comfortable with. I believe it actually tells us this building is not safe to occupy. Feel free to reach out to discuss further. So Adams messages, then on September 10th, right? That was the 9th. Adams then messages the commissioner again, stating that the Turkish official had understood that the FBI was going to inspect the Turkish house the previous day. He's asking, like, why didn't you? Oh, good Lord. Fine. Fine, everyone, batten down the hatches. Happy Friday.
Hello, Felice. How are you doing today with that friendly smile you got on your face?
Oh, you're in a cheery mood. Never better.
Yeah, well, I'm having a big cup of coffee, so that's my caffeine fix.
Me too.
So, well, good. I got a little bit of that Irish cream flavoring in there, too, so.
Good to know. I'll write that down. What do you think
I
about what I'm
usually,
talking about? What do you think about Eric Adams?
I mean, if he's guilty, he's guilty. If he's not, he's not. Maybe he's not guilty. Maybe they're
Well,
going
Trump
after
says
him.
he's being railroaded.
That's possible. He
Oh, you
he
think that?
bucked up. He bucked up to the system, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay. So this is. See, I'm glad we're doing this.
There's a
This is
better
the
chance.
MAGA.
It's a better
This is
chance.
the MAGA
It's
talking point. Thank you,
it's a
Ken Ray,
better
for
chance that
talking. Yeah. Yeah. There is a better chance he's guilty. But this is the. I'm glad that Ken Ray's here to give an example. The MAGA talking point is that because Eric Adams agrees with Trump that the police should be indemnified. I told you this guy has very weird ideas about immigration, right? This guy is stealing millions of dollars from New York City taxpayers while saying they don't have enough money to house immigrants, right? And his rhetoric is becoming increasingly anti-immigrant, pro-police, and more disturbing, and cutting benefits to New York City taxpayers while he's stealing millions of dollars.
Well, I would be more on the fence with you, but I'm afraid since I'm a left or a right, I'm not. Now let's get this straight. I'm not a MAGA. I'm just a capitalist. That's all, and I support capitalists. But I would be much more in tune with what you're saying, but I would be accused by so many people on the left that I'm racist.
What?
Do you agree? Oh, yeah. If I said, oh, Eric Adams, he's guilty for sure, hang him high. Oh,
No. Okay, well, I don't know about that. I don't know if you should say that part of it, but this has nothing to do with race. This has to do with the paper trail. I'm right now reading electronic mail, as we call it, paper trail, when you commit crimes over the wires, wire fraud, paper trails,
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
just like
So,
Donald Trump. And you guys claim that he's innocent, but there's paper trails of his guilt everywhere.
could you explain?
What do you mean, can I explain? Kenray, we've been over this millions of times. Like, for instance, Trump had his
Not with
appeal.
me.
Yes, Kenray. You can barely remember last week. Trump had his appeal yesterday for the Judge Engren, the 485 million or whatever it is, civil
Yeah, it
fraud
looks like
trial.
they're going to do something about it. The judges are not happy with the amounts that she's
God,
ran it
MAGA is
up
ridiculous. Well, okay, and I
to. No,
just that
seriously.
I'm glad you're bringing that up because let's talk about it. That amount is disgorgement, right? And I know you don't read anything that goes on, but what that is a math formula, right? And I think I can't remember which it was either Barbara Jones, the court appointed monitor. No, I think it was someone else, but correctly said it is ludicrous for the Court of Appeals. This wasn't an arbitrary amount, Ken Ray. That's what everyone needs to understand. The 400 plus million that Trump owes, that is a everyone needs to understand. The 400 plus million that Trump owes, that is a mathematical formula for how he should have paid in the past. It's not a judgment against him. That is the money that he owed and did not pay. I can't remember who it is. I could look up the article. There's an article in the outline about this, and it's a woman who's saying it's ridiculous to say the amount's too high. That's like saying, well, you committed a really great fraud and shouldn't be punished for it. He defrauded the state of New York and got away with it. And why? Because he did such a huge fraud? He shouldn't have to pay it back?
And tell me what that was. That this lady, or Bragg or whoever it was, I think it was Natisha, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Letitia. That's why I would say I know her name. I can actually find it. It is, and then I can cite another thing in the outline. So this is actually good. It is number 8 in the outline. It's a Washington Post article. If you're not in the Discord, hold on, Cameron. It's called Trump Attorneys Layout Case for Tossing, it's $478 million fraud. Messed up a couple million there. Let me find this woman's quote.
And nobody
Here it is.
in the just.
Here it is. The penalty is appropriate, Deputy Solicitor General Judith Vale said, because a lot of fraud went on for years, allowing Trump to accrue significant interest rate savings. Quote, that is an enormous benefit that they got from the misconduct, she said. And it is not an excuse to say, well, our fraud was really successful, so we should get some of the money.
Well, you know that the loaners said that they were happy with the deal. He paid them all back. They
Okay,
made money
again,
on it.
that has nothing to do. Hold on. We're not talking about Deutsche Bank.
My God,
it doesn't have anything to do. Deutsche Bank is
like
not
my
being
dude.
defrauded. Deutsche Bank is not being defrauded.
So who's being defrauded?
The state of New York, the people of
How?
New York, other people
How?
who were in line for favorable loans and didn't get it.
How?
Ken Ray, what are you joking? This
So
is
you're
money.
saying
He's lying on documents. But hold on, and I also need to make another point though as well. Like, let me just give you an analogy because it might help. So, in domestic violence cases, for instance, they're oftentimes right. Let's say a married couple, the man hits a woman, right? She calls the police, right? And then time goes by, they charge the man. There's enough evidence, whatever happens, there's evidence, they charge the man. And then the woman will say, oh, never mind. I don't want to charge him. I'm fine. It doesn't matter. He didn't mean it. But does that matter? No. It's the state of New York. It is the state of New York versus Donald Trump. It has nothing to do if whoever involved, Deutsche Bank, anyone else says, hey, I don't really mind. In a way, I decided I don't care about this. It never had anything to do with them in the first place. There are penal codes, right? There are civil codes. There are laws. And when you break them, what the law was broken, when he signed the documents. It doesn't matter how any third parties feel or don't feel about it.
And what did Letitia run on?
Oh dear Lord! And
No,
actually, that's not
seriously.
true. Oh no, I'm just going
Yes.
to be
Oh,
clear that that's not true.
I've heard the videos of her
Okay,
saying,
well,
"I'm
I will
gonna
talk about
get
that.
Donald Trump. I'm
Hold
gonna
on,
get him.
hold on. Let me just say
I'm gonna
something.
go get him." She said she's gonna get
Okay,
him.
Ken Wright, please don't talk in that voice. It gets just a little uncomfortable for all of us that are stuck here listening. Guys, keep tapping the screen. If you have a question or a comment for Ken Wright, a girl has no name, I will read them aloud. Oh wait, I missed. Ashley says from. Oh wait, no, I did read that one. Okay, cool. I'll check Cash App. Yeah, so
Just
about
remember
the
my sense
let
of
me no, let me
humor.
just say something, and I'm just gonna say. So what you need to know about Attorney General? Why did that just happen? Does anyone know what just happened or why this is happening? I don't know. I didn't move anything or touch anything.
Are you talking about these people that are
Do I
saying
look
things like
normal to you?
he's?
Do I look normal to you guys, or can you only see the side of me? Can you see all of me? Oh, it does look normal to you. Okay, then something just happened to my screen. Actually, let me just quickly pull up the live on my because I can't see myself anymore. Okay, cool. As long as you guys can see me, it's fine. I can't see like it. All I can see, I became huge, and I can only see one half of my head. Oh, I do
Now,
look normal. Okay, never mind.
now,
I just opened
now,
it on my other account.
regardless of my sense of
Wait,
humor,
now I'm
I
not. No,
am taking this serious.
no, I
I
know
am
you are.
taking this serious. Yes.
Actually I appreciate. I don't mind your sense of humor. I got it. So we're really discussing here. No, let's talk about that. It is my opinion, and I think it should be the opinion of everyone. Just like Kamala Harris was the what? There's an operative word here. Elected Attorney General of California.
Yes.
Letitia
Yes.
James is
Yes.
the elected Attorney General of New York, right?
And you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting
No.
a liberal
And so
there.
I'm of the belief that when you're an elected, people elect who they want to elect, right? And you don't know this. I only briefly, I can't claim New York. I love New York City. I lived there for work for less than a year, but I loved every minute of it. But the people of New York City have thoughts and feelings about Donald Trump. They have been defrauded by this man for years upon years. When the rest of the country was just discovering they didn't like Donald Trump, New York City didn't like him for years upon years. And they elected someone to what? Carry out the will of the people, Ken Ray?
Just in time for the next election, right?
Absolutely not. No, your timeline's completely
What
off.
another coincidence.
That's not true. 100% not true.
Just
But
another
anyways,
coincidence.
no, again, Ken Ray, that's not true. And I can take you through that as well if you want to talk about the timeline, because that's another story that I know everything about and you know nothing about. But again, what I would consider wrong and defrauding the people of New York is if Letitia James did not carry out the will of the people. And again, now here is the best part. Here's the best part about the justice system. Did Letitia James convict Donald Trump or find him liable? No. Why not? Because that's not how the justice system works. You follow the evidence. And that's oh my gosh. What is the DA's name? Sorry, Alvin Bragg. Sorry, for a second it escaped me, right? Alvin Bragg also used to work in the Attorney General's office briefly. And Alvin Bragg, that's the same thing they say about Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg ran on what? Getting Trump. That's actually completely false. His opponent ran on getting Trump. His Republican opponent ran on getting Trump. Alvin Bragg said and mirrored exactly what Letitia James has said, that I follow the evidence, right? That's my job, is
Before
to
that, the
follow the
Justice
evidence
Department
and
wouldn't touch
when
it.
crimes are committed, to hold people accountable. Donald Trump, and again, this is not an opinion. It's not like, hey, Billy said that Donald Trump committed a crime. This is a paper trail, an open and shut case of fraud. He signed those documents. He lied. He falsified his statements on documents. It's not a matter of, hey, did he do this? Yeah, he did it. Everyone knows that.
By the way, I
And
don't mean
then
to
you
interrupt
go
you,
and say,
but you see
what?
that
Nobody, we should have
Shelley down
overlooked it?
there, Shelley is calling me
Who's
weird down
Shelly?
there, right down there in the
Go
box.
Shelly. Do you want me to chastise her for that? For making an observation? What would you like me to do, Kenry? Shelly, I mean, I think that's an astute observation. It's not true. Kenry, why? And like you said when you came up here, you don't know if Eric Adams is guilty, but you're inclined to say yes. Well, I can tell you that I read this indictment. I did not put it down. I was so interested in yesterday. This isn't a matter of, hey, there's some witnesses and it's their word against his. This is just a simple financial crime. Financial crimes have paper trails, right?
And tell me
it's just about
who the
forensic
appraisers
accounting.
were. Who were the appraisers?
That has nothing to do with anything.
Well, you got to appraise property to see what you come up with. It's like they said
What are you
Mar-a-Lago
talking
was.
about?
They said Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million.
No,
but my,
that's not what it. That has nothing to. No, they didn't, and you don't even know. That has to do with the classification of the property, which you don't even understand. But the
you
point
couldn't buy
is that when
you
it
couldn't
comes
buy
time to pay taxes, Donald Trump's properties are worth nothing, right? And when it comes time to get a favorable bank loan, all of a sudden his properties are worth 10 times what they're worth, and they have X amount more square footage than they have in reality. He's falsifying business records.
So
That's
you
the
don't
problem.
think you don't think the
Henry,
banks have
if
appraisers?
your assets don't change, your homes don't change square footage depending on if you need a loan or you need to pay taxes. That's
You
the
don't think
problem that he
you don't
has.
think the bank
Henry,
appraisers you don't think the bank appraisers would know that?
oh, okay, that's another part that has nothing to do with it. But let's talk about that, because that was the flimsy defense that Donald Trump continued to scream about over and over and over.
Flimsy.
Yeah, it has not. Okay, so I'm going to answer for you. I'm going to answer you, and you need to listen and stop just yelling MAGA talking points. And this is why I have a problem with you saying you're not MAGA. You're not MAGA, but you
Hold
hit
on. Look
every
at Daniel down there.
conspiracy
He
theory.
said I was an embarrassment.
Why are you reading the? Stop
I just
reading.
every once in a while I look down. Daniel just comes up and he just says just nasty things about me. Nasty, nasty, nasty.
I had no idea you care so much. You need to calm down. Sorry, I'm just seeing if really quick. Let me check.
Usually I don't. If you'll ask people in the live here, some of them that know me, I don't usually even pay any attention to them at all. So
I know, actually,
anyway,
I will. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I'm
let's get back to
surprised you are right now.
serious. Let's
Usually I
get
would-
back to serious things.
Thank you for
let's-
subscribing, Shelley. Okay, so stop talking and let me finish. Yeah.
Okay, I don't
Donald
talk
Trump.
much.
One of the
Go ahead.
things he was muttering over and over when he was like crying in the hallway of his trial was saying, well, like you said, the bank's happy. No one lost any money. This is a victimless crime. Or the other one was, like you said, there was a clause. My lawyers said that Deutsche Bank needs to do their own due diligence. None of that matters when you falsify business documents. When you sign your name on business documents that are verifiably false, which Trump did. That's the point. When he signed the documents, he was guilty. You could whine and flail around and say, well, oh, Deutsche Bank, nobody lost any money. It's a victimless crime. Victimless crimes are still crimes, right? There is penal codes in the state of New York, and when you violate one, it's a crime. And this isn't a small crime. This is $478 million.
Well, I'm going to say again, you just said it, but I'm going to say again, who is the victim and why would that not be important? And one more thing, now you talked quite a while. When we expanded into New York, one of my compadres.
Are you talking about
he was over there.
Gordon's Fish or whatever you worked for?
Yeah,
See, I remember. I listened when you talked.
Gordon's Food Service. One item
one of
we
us
carried
listened.
a lot of, but we expanded into New York, and he came back. His name was Chuck. He came back, and I said, "How you doing over there?" He says, "My ass is missing a chunk." I said, "What do you mean by that?" He says, "I can't believe the taxes you have to pay in New York." So I
Oh, you're
guess New
bringing up
York is
some guy told you that New York pays high
probably
taxes.
embezzling all its people that live there, but they're too.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
none of that has anything to do with anything that we are talking about.
Oh no, the government's fine with stealing money from you. It's like
They are not
and
stealing money.
now
You saying,
now
listen, if you don't want, here's the great part about America. If you don't want to pay the taxes that you need to pay to live in New York City proper, you can leave. You
and
do not have to
they
live
they
there.
are in droves, and unfortunately, they're going down to
No,
North
that's just
Carolina where
that. Hey,
I was from, and
again,
they're raising the
again,
taxes
Kenray,
down
that is
there.
not. Again, that is not true. That is just
Oh
something
yeah.
when Donald Trump said all the businesses are leaving, no one's going to do business anymore. That is the center of the financial world. It is not
Oh,
true. It's
I'm
just
sure
something
it
Donald
is.
Trump
Yeah.
wishes when he got caught for defrauding the state of New York that all of a sudden nobody would do business there. It's just not true, Kenray, and you know that. It's not true.
There's more people leaving than going in.
That's not
There
true.
and North Carolina or
Okay,
California.
again, that's not true.
There and California. Yes, it is. More
Again,
people are
no,
leaving California than going in.
I don't. Anyways, that was fact checked. Let me just, and it depends on the period of time you're talking about.
And
Henry, cite a
let's
source
talk
or stop
about
making up
more
lies.
people are leaving New York than coming into it.
Kenray, then cite a source, or I'm dropping you for lying. I'm sick of you making up lies.
When you say I'm not making up lies, when
Cite
you
a,
say a
yes, then
source,
cite a source. Kenray, you can't spew disinformation.
do the census.
Yeah, and then you need to cite the source, not the census. And there's more than one census.
Oh, I thought the ones that came knocking on your door and giving that piece of paper out was people that was the census
Well,
people.
here's a fact of life
No,
in general.
I'm gonna ask you.
The birth rate in the no, I'm not talking to you about I'm not talking to you about people knocking on doors for the census. The birth rate is declining across the United States, right? You know that, right? That the birth rate's
you're
declining. How have we traditionally supplemented the birth? And oh wait, this applies to you because you're one of them. Right now, the largest group of people have left the workforce. The boomers are retiring, and no offense, I wish you a long, healthy life, but also they're not a lot of them are with us anymore. We're losing the boomers.
too late for
en masse.
that. Well, I won't
You
be
guys
around
are
long. I
dying
don't buy
off.
green
No, but
bananas.
okay, so let's talk about it. The boomers are dying off, retiring and leaving the workforce. Our birth rate is declining. What have we done traditionally in America to supplement that?
Felice, that's not what I'm talking about. And
No,
with
that
all
is
due
no, it is what we're
with all
talking
due
about.
respect, I'm
It is
saying
what we're
there's more
talking about.
people moving out of New York than's coming in.
Okay, again, cite a source. But I don't care.
Just
Anyways, I don't care.
you
That's
know
not
I'm
the point
right.
that we're talking
You know
about.
I'm right.
No,
You
I
know
don't
I'm
know
right.
you're right. I absolutely don't. Debate
Just
doesn't
Google
work
it.
this way.
Google it. You'll find.
No.
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 Okay.
I'm not
You're
doing your
starting.
work for you.
You're starting to
You
hurt my
can Google.
feelings.
I because I won't do your work for you in a debate.
I thought we had a much better relationship than that. I didn't think you would hurt my feelings
Yo,
like
I
that.
think this is goes to your own delusions. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is though, how does New York City supplement its population with immigration, right? New York City is one of the biggest melting pots in America through
Well,
immigration.
Mayor Adams didn't seem to like it too much, did he?
Yes, thank you for making my next point. And
I wonder why.
when the birth rate in America is declining, right? When the largest cross section of our workforce is retiring and or dying off, the only way we traditionally supplemented that was with immigration. And now we have MAGA who have adopted the disgusting right-wing fascist replacement theory as gospel. That's
And what
the
are
issue.
these
Isolation,
immigrants qualified at doing?
isolationism and nativism. That's what you guys have become. You guys
What are
don't
these
want more
immigrants
people here.
classified at doing?
I don't even know
I
what
mean,
that. I don't understand what that means.
what are they able to do? What is their professions?
I don't know what immigrants do all sorts of things. I feel like
Like
you are
what?
wanting. Are you
Doctors,
joking? They're
surgeons,
doctors, they're lawyers, they're
surgeons
engineers.
coming across the border,
Absolutely.
coming from the south.
Okay, Kenray, if you're about to become a racist, then you're leaving.
No, no.
Absolutely.
I'm saying
Hey, okay, immigrants, the majority of immigrants don't come over the border. We know that, right? Legal immigration and asylum seekers, people who have work permits, that's not necessarily how they come to the United States. We already know that.
well,
Undocumented immigrants who also the majority of undocumented immigrants do not come, they're not sneaking over the border. They overstay visas, but they're not permitted to work. So we are not talking about those people. I'm talking about people with work permits that can contribute to the economy. They do all sorts of jobs. This is going to come as a shock to you, but when you immigrate here legally and you get a work permit, you can start in one job, you can get an education, right? And then you can end up much higher than where you started, all of which benefits the US economy.
wow.
Did you fall
I
asleep,
don't.
Kenray?
I don't see too many Mexican doctors. You know, mostly I see they either come from India or they come from the Middle East, and they're good doctors, by the way. Just to
You're
show
trying
some
to
of
say
the,
that there's no
just to
Mexican
show,
doctors? Hold
just to
on.
show. No,
Kenray,
a Mexican
you just made
doctor is
you just made a disgustingly racist statement. There are
no.
absolutely Mexican doctors.
There's no Mexican doctors
There are
crossing the border.
there are absolutely Mexican doctors. There are
Coming
absolutely
across the
people who
border,
have
coming
there
across
are
the southern border.
absolutely people who have immigrated to the United States from Mexico and become
If they
doctors.
do it legally, that's fine.
There are people in my family who have done that. What
There,
in the
if you
actual
do it,
F are
if
you
you
talking
do it,
about?
if you
What
do
in the
it,
actual F are you talking about, Kenray?
if
There are
they do it
absolutely
legally,
Mexican doctors who have immigrated. Yeah,
and
if
if
you have
they
a
do
work,
it legally, that's
Kenray,
fine.
before I drop you, I think your racism is vile and disgusting.
No, I just said if they do it
I
legally,
truly,
it's fine.
Kenray, you owe me an apology. You owe everyone that's been listening to you an apology.
I'm
Truly.
sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. I am.
For
I'm
your
truly
belief that
sorry.
you are somehow
No,
holding a belief
somebody calls me a racist.
that brown people that immigrate to this country do not become doctors.
No, I'm saying that if you come over here legally, that's fine. And if your
Again,
kids want to
if
be
you have,
doctors,
hey,
that's fine.
Kenray, you have to use your brain now. Use your brain, please. If
Look
you
at
have a
that
work
picture of me.
permit,
Look at
if
that
you have
picture
a
of me.
work permit, use your brain, Kenray. If you have a work permit, you're here legally.
Yes, you are.
So what you're doing is you're muddling your own racism towards brown and black people, or
No,
you just feel like
look at me.
any brown and black person that immigrated here is here illegally. That
Look
is
at
not
that picture
true.
of me and tell me if you think I'm white.
We are
Tell
we
me
are
if you think I'm white.
we are specifically talking about workers and the jobs that brown people, specifically you named Mexicans, that are immigrating here, and you said they can't be doctors. Absolutely,
I didn't say
brown and
that.
black people.
I said that there's
Okay.
no doctors
Kenray,
coming across the border.
retract your statement and admit that your
I
racism
retract.
got the best
I'm
of you
a,
there.
I'm,
Yeah, you
I'm not.
definitely should.
I admit that my racism must have got the best of me there, if that's what makes you feel good.
And now that he's admitted that, I think we can not talk to him anymore. I feel like that was done. I feel like we really Kenry, come back when you've literally there are Mexicans in my own family, like the delusions of grandeur. And by the way, people are immigrating from here to Mexico. Mexico is a more civilized place. To people go from America to get health care, insurance in Mexico, insurance companies, because it is cheaper to pay for Americans' flights and their hotel stays to go to Mexico and get medical procedures done. Recommend that people do that over getting care in the United States. And that is the most disgusting belief. And that's why misogynoir exists within medicine. Why black and brown people die disproportionately in the doctor's offices. Right? There's some belief in this country that brown and black people are not capable or not qualified to be in positions of power. That's why I love that Kamala Harris is running. The presidency is about to be a black job, and I will point it out every day for the rest of my life. Kenway, I don't know why you're requesting again. You need to take a nap. You literally need to take a nap. My Republican aunt went to Mexico for surgery. Isn't that always the way, too? Like, it is. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous to say. But the point is, of the statement I am making, to act like immigration is a drain on this country. Immigration is the only thing that has built this country to what it is. And that was when we had a good birth rate. Our birth rate is in the shitter now. The only thing that will save this economy and make us or have us continue to be the number one gross domestic product in the world is immigration. Is people willing to come here and accept work visas and work within our economy. I don't even care what job they do. But that's allegedly the beauty of America, is upward mobility, right? That's the coolest thing about New York City or about places in America. If you work hard enough, allegedly, right, the American dream, you can be anything you want to be. But for some reason, it seems like Kenray thinks you can only be anything you want to be if you're white. Right? That's the ironic thing. Remember when he said, I'm a capitalist. I'm not MAGA. I'm a capitalist. Well, MAGA or capitalism is allegedly based on a free market, right? A free market that doesn't discriminate based on color. You guys always talk about what's wrong with a meritocracy. You guys don't want to compete in a meritocracy. That's the truth. You guys are terrified of intelligent, more capable, harder working black and brown people being more qualified and taking your jobs. So now we're isolationists, right? But that's not a free market. You want crony capitalism. You want white people to benefit, white people to have what you deem as the acceptable or upper echelon jobs, right? And then black and brown people just fill in here at the bottom. That's what Donald Trump keeps saying. Hey, black and brown people in this country, we can't, if you guys don't join us and stop undocumented immigrants for coming here, you guys aren't going to have any more jobs. That's literally running off the assumption that the only jobs for American citizens who are black and brown are lower echelon jobs. That's what you're saying, right? Which is not the truth. That's sickening. Anyways, I'm sorry, but I digress. And then on that note, I think we should do some clips, because I have some clips I want to go over. I suggest everyone, and Kenry hit every talking point. That is, Mayor Eric Adams joined with Donald Trump, started deploying disgusting rhetoric about immigration in this country, and same rhetoric about crime. We know there's no statistical correlation between immigration and crime, right? That's not a thing. That's just a made up thing in the world of Fox News. And that's something that Eric Adams pushes. Anyways, but let's go through. I want to show you guys, because it's funny that Ken Ray is spewing that type of anti-immigrant language, because that's what Donald Trump did yesterday at his press conference to whine and make himself feel better about probably losing his appeal. I will say, it is true what Ken Ray said about if the appellate court was questioning anything, they were questioning the amount of money that Trump has to pay. But again, just know when you hear that talking point that the amount of money Trump has to pay, it's not damages. It's not saying like, oh, this is for the pain and suffering of the state of New York. It's the exact amount he benefited from his fraud, right? That's why it's called disgorgement. It's disgorgement. He engorged himself by defrauding the state of New York with an illegal scheme, engorged himself of money, and they want to now disgorge him. They want him to pay back the money that he owes. It's not some egregious fine that's just arbitrary. It's a mathematical equation. And again, on that, they said that the appellate court in New York usually rules within weeks after they hear the case. So it is also possible, which I don't think would be a good idea, that they could rule before the election. So, and however they rule, could that swing things one way or the other? I don't know. That's probably the scarier part. Is I think it would be appropriate for them to wait until after the election to rule, but I guess precedent of how they usually work, they might not. Thank you guys. Keep tapping the screen.
Oh, I need to.
Me too. Oopsies. Oh, actually, you know what I want to show you guys? Before I show you guys Trump's blatant racist rant he went on at his press conference of whining, did you guys know that Melania had an interview yesterday? Has anyone seen this absolute nonsense? Melania has a book that has come out. I mean, because, you know, she's not going to campaign for Donald Trump anyways. Yeah, Melania had an interview on Fox yesterday, and it is, oh, Melania, blink twice if you need help. Like, it's the basic gist of it. I don't know. It's like, I wonder how much she got paid to say this stuff. Hold on one second. I didn't even know about this interview till late last night. I didn't even hear about it. And this is a section in the outline, which is, oh God, I hate this. I'm going to have to, which is in the Discord. If you need a link to the Discord, this is a TikTok business account. Just look it up. It's Felice Navidad Live, and send a message that account and just say, I need a link to the Discord. All the clips, all the articles we go over, all the Eric Adams indictment is in the live sources section in the Discord every day. Let me just go back to the outline. Oh, and one quick thing to mention before we move on about the Eric Adams indictment. When you're reading the indictment, it is I put 13 is just a plain copy of the indictment if you want to print it. It's just the plain PDF, but 12 is a New York Times article. It's called "Here Are the Charges Eric Adams Faces," and it is like a annotated indictment. So it's really cool because, like, when I was talking about, like, oh, the Turkish official, like, they will have the guy's names, extra information, they'll explain things that are a little bit confusing. So if you want to read through the indictment and get like a bigger picture of the corruption, I suggest using number 12 in the outline. And then this section is called, this is just called Melania. And again, all of my sections in the outline, they start at the bottom and then go to the top. So this is clip number 5. Well, let me make sure. Yep. Clip number 5. I have so many funny things to show you guys. But again, this is, I believe, Fox and Friends. Yeah, so the morning on Fox. That's why I never even knew this was happening. And she was there to promote her ridiculous book.
A few weeks later, there's another attempt on your husband's life at your golf course. Where were you, and what was your reaction to this attempt?
I was in New York City, actually, and I saw it on the television. And as soon as I saw it on television, I called again, and he was okay because Secret Service were great. The guys that they were with him, they were fantastic. And I think both of the events, they were really miracles. If you really think about it, the July 13 was a miracle, like that much, and he could not be with us.
And he normally doesn't call for that one screen. He waits till the end of the speech. So just looking at that screen allowed him to turn his head.
I think something was watching over him. I think it's almost like country really needs him.
Okay, now, again, this is the woman who's been humiliated. Trump has cheated on every wife he's ever been with, right? Who's shamed them, humiliated them. This is the woman who will not get on the campaign trail at the RNC, looked like a hostage, right? Renegotiated her prenup when all this stuff came out about Stormy Daniels. Keep in mind, look at this ridiculous book, by the way. She says she's like, her passion is graphic design. I just want to point out, that is the book cover. It is just her name. It's a black cover and her name in white. And she's like, my passion is graphic design. It's like, is it? Is it, Melania? So I just want to point out, she's not here to jump on the campaign trail. She's not here because she's had a change of heart and like can stand her husband. She's here to sell her book. How did they ever get to narcissist? I know. I don't know what, I don't get, Melania. Like, it's very confusing. But, and then let me just speak to what she's saying, though, and why it's so disgusting. Again, this narrative that God was watching over him, it was fate. Like, he usually pulls up that immigration chart at the very end. Like, God, that's what they're doing to the evangelicals, is saying, twice God has saved this man. He must be ordained to be our president and lead us into the future. What about Cory Comportore? What about so God said Cory needs to go? The man who was a lifelong firefighter needed to go? That's the problem. Hoodie, don't say wow. Please don't be in the comments saying wow. I've about had it today. I have to listen to Ken Ring say ridiculous things. Please do not say wow. That's what they're saying, though. If you're saying that God saved Donald Trump, why then you're saying the people injured or the people no longer with us, right? What about them? Trump is no more important than Cory Comportore, right? Not at all. He didn't say anything. We're not muting Hoodie. He didn't say anything wrong yet. Just because we don't like somebody doesn't mean they, Okay, 4. How do you feel about Donald Trump running again? So that's the question she's asking. It's like, how much did you get paid? I would love to know if Melania got any perks for this. I mean, besides she's trying to sell her book. He didn't say anything.
How did you feel about Donald Trump running again?
I support him. I know how passionate he is to make America great again.
We saw you backstage at the RNC. Do you want to talk about why you decided not to come out on stage and give a speech like you did in 2016?
It was my decision. I think was just the time. I think was the right time. In days before, I wrote a beautiful letter to America.
Yes.
And I think in one way that letter was my speech.
The raid on.
She's asking her, which is a good question. Hey, if you think your husband will make such a good president and you support him so much, why won't you campaign for him? Like, by all accounts, he like begged her to get on stage at the RNC and give a speech, and she's like, absolutely not. And that's what and she says, well, I wrote a letter. She had somebody else type out a letter a few days. That's what I'm saying. This does seem like satire. Like, it's like if someone's like Saturday Night Live spoofed a Melania interview, that's what it seems like when I was watching this. I was like, this cannot be real. Oh, now this is Melania talking about Trump being a family man. Brace yourself. Brace yourselves.
Mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs to unite. And I encourage everybody to read my letter that I wrote on July 14 again, because that cannot continue.
letter was very powerful. What made you
The
get to
letter.
the point of writing that letter?
That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
How do you feel when people say they don't like him? What do you wish they knew about him?
That he is really a family man. He loves his family. He loves this country. And all he wants to build better and prosperous.
Yeah, he's just strong. He's not afraid to
No, he's not
talk
strong.
about the way
You
it
could
really
see
is.
the way he was when he was shot, that in the ear, that the way he stood up and he said, fight, 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 because we cannot allow that to happen.
Okay, but
Oh, I almost believe you, Melania. You almost had us. God, give this woman an Oscar. You're the worst actress I've ever seen in my life. Wait, now we have to go a little out of order because I can't take it. So you just heard that ridiculous clip. Now I gotta show you Michael Cohen. So this is in the next section above it, the section called MAGA has lost the plot. Sorry. This is number 5. I'm just gonna switch because you have to see this. Michael Cohen was talking about this interview.
how do you feel when people say they don't like him? What do you wish they knew about him?
That he is really a family man. He loves his family.
He's such a family man, Cohen, that he has a bunch of different families.
All right. He's a major and a tremendous family man. Let's just break this down. If you read my book Disloyal, you'll see at least a half a dozen different scenarios where he literally says some of the worst shit about Don Jr. that you could ever imagine. That he is the worst fucking judgment of, and these aren't my words, these are Donald's words, that Don Jr. has the worst fucking judgment of anyone he's ever met in his life. Ivanka he wants to sleep with. Eric, he really doesn't say anything other than Eric has his spatial understanding, right? All 3 of these kids, by the way, were not raised by Donald. They were really raised by their mom, but more even than that, they were raised by a guy named Vinny, who was their driver. And I'll never forget when Donald wanted to fire Vinny, they all stepped up and they said, if you do, we're actually leaving. It's the one thing that we will not let you do. He was more of a father to them than their own father. Tiffany, the redheaded stepchild that nobody even knew from. I mean, if I can tell you stories till tomorrow about, she would call, he'd roll his eyes. And I feel bad because I actually happen to know and like Tiffany. And then, of course, there's Barron. Barron has seen less of Donald than any of the other 4 children, which is hard to believe as it relates even to Tiffany. So yeah, he's a family man. While Melania just has a child, he's out there sleeping with a porn star and a Playboy playmate. Absolutely the best father. He deserves the Time Magazine Father of the Year award.
Truer words were never spoken. Like, Donald Trump's a family man, please. Please. This man has cheated on every woman he's ever been with. Publicly. Unapologetically. Cheated on it. This is not a family man. This is a man when his children displease him, like, literally stops speaking to them and publicly talks about it. I remember in 2016 when his kids would piss him off and he'd be at Trump rallies saying, like, I'm not talking to my kids right now. At the RNC, Tiffany came up to him. It is odd video. I showed the clip when I was covering the RNC. Tiffany comes up to him and tries to, literally, he rolls his eyes and turns away from her and will not touch her or talk to her. He's a family man. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
So I think American people need to decide what they really want.
We do.
Maybe some, strong tweets, but everything else great for this country. So it's all in the Americans, people's hands on November 5th.
The American people need to decide what they want. Maybe some strong tweets. She's saying the worst thing he's ever done are some strong tweets. Yeah, that of all the things Trump has done, I mean, other than, that is the least of the issues with Donald Trump. The coup comes to mind. The fake elector scheme, trying to undermine democracy in the country comes to mind. When even the Supreme Court, who's trying to protect him and give him as much of a pass on all of his crimes, says even the fake elector scheme is not an official act. We can't cover you there. You have no business going to states and making a plot to submit slates of fake electors. Even the Supreme Court, who will do anything to let this man off, can't figure out how to get him out of that. And then you're trying to gaslight us. You hate him. You won't campaign with him. Doug Emhoff is on the campaign trail every single day, day in and day out, talking about how much he loves his wife and what's important to him and the future of America. She refuses to campaign for him. And then she's trying to gaslight us all. Oh, God, it's hilarious. Now, I just need to show you. This is literally her book. She's passionate about graphic design, guys. There it is. I can't do it. I cannot do it. That's it. She's really passionate about it. She's an artist, a true artist. Like, what? Who's gonna buy that book? Should we read? We should only buy one copy, and then we should read. I'll read it aloud to us, as satire, because we can't all buy it. Or maybe we just borrow someone else's and we make photocopies. We can't support her, but we should get a copy of it so we can laugh. Oh, and now prepared to die laughing. I literally was crying laughing. Do you guys know who Walter Masterson is? He's like this, I guess he calls himself like a comedian, but he does like satire, and he's like a genius. I mean, he's like a political genius. Like I enjoy all of his takes on politics, everything. Like he had the Eric Adams things nailed too. He showed up to the city of Springfield, Ohio, and was pretending to be JD Vance's advisor. Have you guys seen this video? This is one of the it's so unbelievably insane. So again, he shows up to the city council meeting or commission meeting and is like, I'm JD Vance's advisor. Watch the people's faces while he does that. The lady that's like, what the...
Maximilian Clark.
I am here as the local representative for the J.D. Vance office. The senator thanks you all for your support, the same support that put him into office. I am personally appalled that a Republican elected in Ohio would say that something that we made up isn't true. Do you know how that makes us look? How it makes the senator look? Lazy, incompetent, cruel.
Hey, please don't make your comments, please.
We need to get in line. We do not win this November without immigration chaos. That is why we torpedoed Senator Langford's bipartisan immigration bill. If people aren't talking about how immigrants are eating all the fish from Finding Nemo, they might actually want to talk about our economic policy, which, can we dim the lights? Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys, this is parody. This is Walter Masterson's friend, right? Or his buddy or sidekick that they do parody with. This is not real. I really thought I just explained that. This is not real, you guys. This is a joke. So this is a joke, but it's funny. It's hilarious. And it's gotten millions upon millions. Yeah, I think some people just joined. So again, this is a parody and it's okay to laugh. This is not the people of Springfield being tortured. But it's just so funny when he's dim the lights or bring the lights back up and nothing happens. Just watch. It's okay to laugh. This is literally hilarious. But it is also true. Yeah.
Maximilian Clark.
I am here as the local representative for the J.D. Vance office. The senator thanks you all for your support,
Oh my
the
God.
same
Oh my God. Yes. If I feel like I'm communicating, but I don't think I'm communicating, the meeting is real, right? But like Walter Masterson and his friend, like you guys know, like the Good Liars. They're another duo that do this. You know, they like show up. Like Walter Masterson did a thing where he like found Marjorie Taylor Greene and like Matt Gaetz on a beach. If you don't know who Walter Masterson is, like follow him on X. He's a political genius, but he does satire. Like he's really funny, really cool. And this is his friend, but I can't remember his friend's name. But you know, like similar to the Good Liars. If you don't know who the Good Liars are, they show up at like Trump rallies and like pretend to be Trumpers. They just do really funny things, but it's in real situations, right? But they're doing satire. Like this is not actually someone from JD Vance's campaign. Okay.
Maximilian Clark.
I am here as the local representative for the JD Vance office. The senator thanks you all for your support, the same support that put him into office. I am personally appalled that a Republican elected in Ohio would say that something that we made up isn't true. Do you know how that makes us look? How it makes the senator look? Lazy, incompetent, cruel.
Hey, please don't make your comments, please.
We need to get in line. We do not win this November without immigration chaos. That is why we torpedoed Senator Langford's bipartisan immigration bill. If people aren't talking about how immigrants are eating all the fish from Finding Nemo, they might actually want to talk about our economic policy, which, can we dim the lights?
Dim the lights?
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
No.
So this is our plan to fight inflation. And the best part about it, it's whatever you want it to be. That's right. Once you start writing stuff down, it gets messy, it gets complicated. And it's hard. It's hard to fight inflation. Like, apparently, putting a tariff on all imported goods and having a national 22% sales tax makes prices go up. Who knew? Wouldn't it be better just to talk about how immigrants are stealing car tires to set them on fire because they want the air to be stinky? Look, we don't want to divide this community. We don't want to bring extra strife to this community or the Haitian community. The senator is open to making up a new conspiracy theory. Here, can we have the lights back up? Thank you.
We have the lights.
I'm going to need a country. I heard Guatemala.
Sir, you just direct your comments to me.
Oh, perfect. Verb, please.
Please stop.
Yeah,
Is
bird
this Mad
arson.
Libs?
Bird arson. Thank you. Got that.
Sir,
Listen,
are you done?
Our
Anything
only
else?
popular position is that being mad at immigrants for trying to use social services that we're trying to get rid of entirely. Our entire real platform is just about getting rid of overtime pay, labor unions, getting rid of the minimum wage, building submarines, invading Mexico. We wrote this down. This is part of our platform. But hey, no taxes on tips. Am I right? And if you don't support us, the Guatemalans are going to come for your birds and they're going to set them on fire. I will now open the floor to questions.
Walter Madison, please sit down.
Bird arson. I'm sorry. But that's the point sometimes. The Republican Party is so ridiculous, so off the rails, so disgusting that the only way it can really be highlighted is with satire. Because they're dead serious about it. That is their literal strategy, to make up lies and demonize immigrants, to draw false correlations between immigration and crime, right? To terrify people into being scared of black and brown people, because what they're really running on is nothing that will benefit any of us. And then the other stuff is about taking our rights away, dissolving labor unions, right? It's nothing. They have to distract. It's like, hey, look over here at this latest crisis we're making up. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, slowly taking everyone's civil rights away. Anyways, I just thought it was funny. And now, what else I think is funny is the juxtaposition. So that was satire. Now you're about to see something that is completely true. Have you guys heard about Tucker Carlson's tour? Tucker Carlson is on tour with Roseanne. This is not a joke. This is a real tour that is happening in real time. Keep tapping the screen, guys. and brace yourself, because again, this is not satire. This is MAGA. This is the Republican Party. MAGA, great job. This is you guys. Tucker Carlson is like, how did I get here? He thought his low point was interviewing Putin, and Tucker Carlson is like, this is my life now.
You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh and they drink human blood. They do. By the time we go in to vote for Trump, that he will open up everybody's eyes and they will stop pretending to be asleep. You know what they say, you can't wake people up that are pretending to be asleep, but I pray to God, please wake up even those who are pretending to be asleep with the irrefutable truth of what the worst people on this planet are really up to. They are really up to that. They're doing it. There are so many victims. There are so many victims. There's so...
Yeah, all of us. We are all your victims. Now, I just need, again, this is under the MAGA has lost the plot section in the outline, which is in the live sources section. If you need a link to the Discord, send a message to the TikTok account at Felice Navidad Live, and we'll get you one. That was 11 was the satire of the JD Vance. 10, this is 10. So now I just thought, look, this is Tucker Carlson wondering what has happened to his life. Like, Tucker Carlson used to be a reputable reporter. Now he's touring the country with Roseanne, sitting there while she yells this BS. She's dead serious. This is like stop after stop. This is a tour. This is like when there was that Q tour going on with what's the guy, the general, I can't remember, that Trump pardoned. That's what this reminds me of. It just gets worse and worse. Okay, now, you remember Corey Lewandowski, who, Trump wasn't allowed to have working at his campaign for a while? Well, Corey Lewandowski's back. Remember when he was like having, I don't know if it was an affair. I think it was an affair with Kristi Noem. They were dating for a while. Listen, this is Corey Lewandowski, everyone's coming back. It's like Laura Loomer's back, Corey Lewandowski's back, like all the people that like they were like, hey, if you want to win an election, you need to keep these people away from you. Well, they're all back. Listen to Corey Lewandowski last night. This is quite disturbing.
In this election, and she's going to draw more attention to it.
Donald Trump's schedule, Corey, has changed. He is much more active. He's doing a lot more retail politics, and it seems like he's lapping her. Whenever she's about to do something, he's kind of already done it. What's that about?
Well, listen, Donald Trump is the greatest fourth quarter player ever to play the game, right? You want the ball in his hands when the game is almost at the end. And he is now gearing up for what is going to be the 40-day run. So what was supposed to be one day of events is now 3, 4, and 5 events in a row on the same day. And you see him going to Wisconsin on Saturday, and then down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And then, originally the campaign was going to have a slower day on Sunday. He said, no, put 4 events on the schedule for me on Sunday. So then it's Sunday, it's Monday, it's Tuesday. You saw him yesterday in North Carolina, the day before that in Michigan, the day before that in Pennsylvania, the day before that in Georgia. Donald Trump is on this tenacious job of just telling his message to the American people.
And you're saying he's going to be at the Alabama-Georgia game?
He is.
All right, and he's not gonna run out into the field or anything like that. He's gonna be in a suite. He's gonna be eating. He's gonna be behaving himself.
I can't comment on that, Jesse. Listen, they're gonna love him down there. You know that this is a huge game. It's a huge college football game, and they are going to love you. Wait till you hear the reaction of Donald Trump.
And Trump's doing that. Notice how he said, Jesse Waters is saying, oh, Trump's always ahead of the game. Trump's going to a football game because Tim Walz is going to a football game, right? Trump to the Michigan, is it Michigan, Minnesota? I'm not exactly sure, because Tim Walz is. So now Trump has to go to a football game. So no, that's not true. That's not true at all. But again, this is Corey Lewandowski, Kristi Noem's ex-affair. And I find this ironic. Like, Trump has done, if anything, as someone who's never missed a Trump rally since the inception of them, Trump has lost so much energy. There was a time when Trump used to do a lot of campaign events when he was running in 2016. He did less in 2020, and he does even fewer now. That's why he does the pressers. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a cash flow problem or it's a he has no energy problem, but to say he's doing 2, 3, 4, 5 events a day, like no, the most events he ever did was in 2016. That's when he had energy. Now he does not. And again, this is just all about showing where MAGA's at, the delusional lies. Now, again, sorry to hit you with more Roseanne. And I was going to ask, I'm pretty sure this is Glenn Beck. Is this Glenn Beck? I don't even know. It looks like Glenn Beck to me, but they're doing an All in the Family parody. Yeah, it is. So this is Roseanne and Glenn Beck doing an All in the Family parody, which, mind you, All in the Family was a show where there was regular bigotry and racism, right? Because it was from a long time ago. And it was already a gross show. But now we have these two doing a parody of All in the Family.
Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
I mean, this is MAGA. I'm just showing you guys. This is what they're up to now. This is literally what it has come to. I can't do it. This is a congressional race in Virginia's 10th district, which I just thought this was good. And this is an example of just the denial of Project 2025, like how Project 2025 has blown up in the Republicans' faces. And this is a Democratic candidate. His name is like Shusfor or something. I can't really, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. But this guy is a known member of the Heritage Foundation who had it on his profile and like touted it that he was a part of the Heritage Foundation. And then when it came out, when the whole thing started where Trump started being like, I know nothing about the Heritage Foundation, and everyone had to scrub their profiles and start denying that they were ever part of the Heritage Foundation. Like, this is an example of someone getting called out in a local congressional race debate. And the guy in the middle looks nuts.
Yeah, I noticed a pattern every time I mentioned that he was a member of the Heritage Foundation. He calls it fear-mongering. I call it the truth, because right up until the primary, he had it on his website. Every time he was introduced as a member of the Heritage Foundation. When he was contributing on Newsmax, a far-right news organization, he was introduced as a member of the Heritage Foundation and proudly wore that badge of honor for him. And so I want to make sure that we're not having Project 2025 become a reality in Northern Virginia. And
right,
unfortunately,
Senator,
he was a member of the group that wrote it.
I'm going to stop you right there.
I love these moments. Like, I love how the Republican Party has to run from their own policy platform that they spent countless amount of time and effort building to come up with legal ways to disenfranchise women and minorities. Right? To banish labor unions, to take rights from veterans, to cut social programs. The only thing it does is, try to consolidate power for the religious right and the rich and the non-minorities in this country. And they worked tirelessly on it and now have to pretend they know nothing about it. Imagine that, if your policies are so disgusting that you have to publicly claim you don't know anything about your own policies that you're running on. You were a proud member of the Heritage Foundation, and now suddenly you have to know nothing about it. How shameful is the Republican Party? Oh, that's the Michael Cohen quote or thing I showed you out of order. And I just wanted to show you this because I find this absolutely fascinating. What we have here, this is a Fox News poll, right? They're asking people, like, right now, this is for the swing state of Georgia, you can see. right now, choice for president if voting now. This is a Fox News poll. So this is predominantly Republicans. And 51% say Harris. This was yesterday. I mean, very encouraging, right? Because I would say Trump in most polling that's probably a state he's had the most solid lead in. He's still within the margin of error. Or, well, it depends on the poll. But just saying, this is a Fox News poll specifically for Georgia. They're asking people, if you had to choose right now, who would you choose? Yeah, W. Harris is right. Not Donald Trump is who they would choose. Now, this is Arizona. Oh, wait, did I not put it in there? For some reason, I don't have it in there. Arizona was a little more concerning. Did I have it in the outline? Let me see if the link is in there. Oh, yeah, Arizona is in the outline. I think it was like he's up by 2 in Arizona, which, again, I'm not surprised by that. People were like, oh, I don't accept that. I think that Arizona is more liberal than Georgia. Well, as someone who was born in Arizona, like, Arizona's come a long way, but just like Georgia is turning purple, so is Arizona, but never underestimate the amount of Republicans here. But I see it as good. Like, when you're talking about a Fox News poll, like, this is predominantly, like, no liberals want anything to do with Fox News polling. And still, even, let me click on it real quick and remind myself what the actual numbers were, just to make sure I'm not getting it wrong. Yeah, the Arizona one is 48 Harris, 51 Trump. So switched pretty much. But still, for me, that's great. If on a Fox News poll we're still within 3, I think Arizona's gettable. I think the Georgia one's super encouraging. I think we are positioned quite nicely going into the end of this race, and we're watching the Republicans like flounder around. They can't even admit their own policies are theirs. So yeah. And anywho, now for something more disturbing. Do you guys know who this man is? This is the superintendent of Oklahoma schools, whose wife, by the way, is a mom for liberty. And he's obviously a Christian nationalist, but so is his wife, who's the I can't remember. She does PR, and she does PR. His wife is the PR agent for Russell Vogt, who is the architect of Project 2025, who worked in Trump's office of budget management or whatever for his last presidency. One of the main architects of Project 2025, who Trump then hired and is directly in charge of the Republican policy platform that came out during the RNC. That's Russell Vogt. This guy's wife is his PR agent. He's the superintendent of Oklahoma schools, and this guy is wasting. This is the man who has hired Haya Rychek, the Libs of TikTok woman, to root out